The Moonshadow Ovalchase Daredevil, sorry, the Moonshadow Asmo Obsessive Pursuit Rottenmouth plan have kind of finally come together in a really nice way. We've played this mono black bit version a few times before Moonshadow came out, and it feels like Moonshadow tied the room together really well. Again, to make the Pursuit plan, the Viper plan, and the general aggro plan come together in a really satisfying way. Is one Parasite not worth? No. Moonshadow is doesn't you don't need to play Parasite like just for Moonshadow. The Moonshadow is like this is a fetch land Mishra's Bauble Underworld Cookbook deck. Moonshadow is really big and scary already. So this is a turn 2 Viper on the draw without an Ovalchase. I think I'm gonna mulligan without an Ovalchase. It's like a bit too many cards we're discarding. Like this hand a lot. Keep. I guess I'm putting back second Moonshadow, although it's so good here. We'll draw against Belcher. I think against Belcher, let's get the aggression started. I haven't seen a lot of Belcher in a while. Turn 2 Viper would have been probably good in this matchup. Good enough. There's another Moonshadow, so obviously we're hoping to draw our second land. If they play you know a archaeologist, it's a little bit weird if they counter my cookbook. There's a Whir or a Goblin Charbelcher. They take the Charbelcher. So we're definitely in race mode. Big draw step for us here. We draw another Moonshadow, which is not exactly what I'd call a big draw. I guess I'm just going to play the cookbook. I think we probably need to get it down this turn. I was watching your YouTube Corral video. Looks sweet. Are there any more Corral games? I think we played 2 leagues. I think we were 7-3 or 8-2 on the day with it. I like the deck. I would be interested in playing again. So they're at 14. Can we draw a second land? We can draw a second land. However, it's an Urza Saga, which is not super helpful as far as second lands go. I do think I'm going to play another Asmo. Let's see. So if I play another Asmo, I get this to 5 power. I put them down to 9. And then, yeah, the Moonshadow's lethal next turn. Maybe I should have not played the Saga yet, but the Moonshadow is lethal next turn. If the Asmo resolves, but the thing is that we know they have the flare, so I don't know if there's a lot we can do besides hope they don't have another untapped land. They shoal for 0, spending only 2 mana, which is interesting. We do grow the Moonshadow to 5 anyways. Maybe it's fine because we hit them down to 9, they bolt down to 6, and they're just dead on board if they go untap land plus Charbelcher. I thought I was Asmo out. This deck's not exact. I mean, it is playing Asmo, but it's not not what I'm tired of yet, I guess. So are they gonna go for the Whir? I guess we'll see. Do I just scoop if they were in response? I mean, they could also just flare this. They might sink my Moonshadow also. They do flare. Probably a fine matchup overall, though. We've got cheap aggression. We have a bunch of haymakers that are hard for them to deal with. We've got Saga for Pithing Needle. We've got Saga for Vexing Bauble. They do have the Whir. We know they have the Belcher. We can keep it moving here. Not going to bring in Ashiok. People always suggest the Ashiok. I just don't think it's very good against them to like 3 mana stop Whir. Just not a card I'm very interested in. The Lavaspur Boots, I don't know if they're a cut or not. I think I want to go down an Opal and a Bauble, maybe 2 Baubles, and I'm bringing in this many Vexing Baubles. Probably down a Daredevil. But let's leave it the boots. I think that a Hasty Viper is just important to have access to. I might cut Viper versus the Flare deck. Maybe. You can get Viper in underneath Flare pretty easy on the play, though, is the thing. And it's very tough. It's like if you just have it on the play, especially if you can turn to Viper, you just keep that hand because there's almost nothing they can do about it. Cut Pursuits. Pursuits can be really big damage, but yeah, maybe 4 is too many. I think maybe I'll play one more Bauble. But yeah, I don't know. Pursuit's not exactly a slow card. It does give you a lot of damage. All right, on the play. Snapping this off. Kind of like that if the one of the Vexing Baubles gets countered next turn, it grows the Moonshadow. Yeah, I mean, my hand is just so good. I think I can afford to just play the Pursuit here. This also make, top deck Viper way better. Is Viper Pursuit a thing in Standard, or are there just not, like, enough enablers for that? Pursuit is a lot better in Modern than it is in Standard to me, it seems, between Fetchlands, Baubles, Urza Saga. Although I'm probably the only one that's playing it. It's a thing, Standard has more powerful things than Viper. I think that's fair. There's a Sink, a Belcher, and a Stern Scolding. They choose the Belcher. So I think I'm more interested in my Thoughtseize resolving than a Bauble, or potentially... I mean, I'm just going to go Urza Saga, Vexing Bauble most of the time first. Probably try to Viper next turn. Maybe the following turn because of... Maybe the following turn because of Boots. Yeah, we do have Needle. We do have Needle for the Charbelcher. I think I have to take the Flood Maul. So my opponent's down to 11 life points. We're cold to Whir, and that's mostly it here. I might be able to present lethal next turn though. They drew a Lotus Bloom, so they're gonna play their Thundertrap Trainer. The trainer letting them double block the Moonshadow means I almost definitely can't present lethal. They find the Whir, which is a disaster. Yeah, I think I'm dead to that. Damn it. So I find Mox Opal. Sack the Vexing Bauble. Grow the Moonshadow. I think we're almost definitely going to have to sack second Vexing Bauble here. Yeah, I mean, I guess we cast the Viper, but we're dead, aren't we? Probably, should I just not have taken the Flood Maul? We would be attacking for lethal, but they can just double block. I guess we can move on. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe we can get to 40 life. We can get to 24 life. Yes, they were for Tamashi, play untap land. Sorry, they were for Bloom, play untap land. Let me make sure they should have enough mana, but when they cast the Tamashi, they're gonna sack the Bloom to cast Tamashi, float a white mana, have 4 lands in play. And they should have 8 mana They should have 8 mana after that. They go to their second main phase. What am I missing something? Okay, what am I missing? Why did they what happened? Did they not have a sink in their hand? They're holding up sink instead. Each untapped land is 3 mana, each tapped land is 2 with Tamashii Lotus. I mean you can count it that way, but I mean it's each untapped land is it's effectively 2 mana. Or each Tamashii activation is 2 mana. So I just count the lands as 1, I count the Tamashii activations as 2. But I don't know why they did it like this. But I mean I'm just gonna Needle now. Don't I have 2 lethal creatures in play? Yeah, I'm just gonna Needle Goblin Charbelcher and attack with both of my lethal creatures. But I don't even know like what like why their plan is to sink here in the first. I mean, I don't know how they even miss it. Whatever. We also have game 3. Unless I'm missing something, I don't think I am. Go to game 3. No, they can't have double Flood Maul. We know too much about their hand. You know, as Sun Tzu once said, never interrupt your opponent while they're making a mistake. Now, Vipers are definitely worse on the draw. Although we have Vexing Bauble and Thoughtseize to play through flares. So we have Cookbook Daredevil. We've got Saga to get Needle. I mean, I think it's just like the Saga to get Needle. Plus Thoughtseize is going to be a keep in of its own, but I do like that Cookbook Daredevil sets us up for Viper. I guess Asmo too, Moonshadow. They play a tapped Lab on turn 1. They suspend a Lotus Bloom, so maybe we want to give Vexing Bauble to counter the Lotus Bloom, although that has issues against Tamashii. Hopefully, we'll be able to make a more informed opinion when we Thoughtseize on turn 2. I do think we're gonna Thoughtseize turn 2. Lotus Bloom ticks down to 2. They've got 6 cards in their hand. They suspend a second copy of Lotus Bloom, making the possibility of Vexing Bauble look pretty appealing. Then they play an untapped Springs. Casting Thoughtseize here. So I mean, level 1 is just take the Belcher. One thing if they draw an untapped land, they can sink my Vexing Bauble next turn. They also have Whir for another Lotus. I think I'm taking the Belcher. Yeah, I do think taking Sink and just getting Needle is fine. Sink for sure. Okay, walk me through that, because they have 2 Lotus Blooms suspended. I can just take the Belcher and Vexing Bauble both of these. Easy Sink? How is this easy Sink? Come on. And if it's easy Sink, walk me through your thought process, because I'm too dumb, I guess. Alright, so get this. I guess they can sink the Vexing Bauble. Now, is that why? Because they can sink the Vexing Bauble? I drew another Vexing Bauble. So now do I Needle? I could get a second Vexing Bauble. Think I'm not. Because only one of the blooms is coming next turn. If you take Sink, they have to draw exactly into the Flood Maul to get around the baubles. Well, no, they don't. They have to draw. They just cast the Belcher. Is that because they're just gonna cast the Belcher? I guess I mean I have Needle coming, but will it be fast enough? I don't know. Off the second Saga. Second Bauble plays around Sink. If you, yeah, on this turn I don't think I care about the second Bauble that much, because they have, if they Sink to bounce the Vexing Bauble, then they don't have Sink for the Needle anymore, and then this Vexing Bauble can still be good against the second Lotus Bloom. Although that might mean I'm not making another Saga token. You meant that turn because if we took sync, they wouldn't have land jump. Okay, well, I understand. I understand we're mostly talking about the Thoughtseize for sync. But at the very least, I really disagree that it was an easy choice. Looks like they just did not cast the bloom, which is interesting. Certainly was not an easy choice. And I feel like we made the right call, even though everyone was in the chat saying I made the wrong choice. But I just need more clarity on why it was the easy choice, since it seemed like so many people disagreed. I think we should be fine to make a construct this turn. Yeah, they should have cast it for Tamashi purposes, but we'll see if they make the same mistake here. They do. Chances were they just cast the Belcher the Night Dead because you didn't take her high. I agree completely. And then it's not that often that I see this many people in the chat say that the other option is just easily the right choice, and I feel strongly the other way. So I'm trying. Maybe people are just not that interested in having a conversation about this, but I'm just trying to see, is there what am I missing? But maybe I'm not missing anything. Here getting Nihil Spellbomb for Tamashi seems kind of good. Let's see what we draw for turn. Kind of also they just made a weird attack. Okay, now we're gonna be getting Lavaspur Boots. Yeah, if it's not obvious, that's fine. I just need to know if I'm missing something. But I don't think I am at this point. Where do you rank Elvish Reclaimer in the modern one-drop rankings? I don't. It's not playable. So let's take the Flare of Denial here. And then we're gonna. I don't know how much. Oh, I guess I don't want to go too overboard because they have the sync. So I'm just gonna sack 5 things here. Oh, you know what? Can I double Viper this turn? I think if they bounce the Viper in response to the Lavaspur Boots equip, I should be able to recast it this turn, which I don't think I've ever done. Although I can't re-haste it. So we'll equip the boots. Now they have to sync it. They have to sync it now. And they don't sync it now. So let's go ahead and sack this Delta so we can get an extra counter here. I liked holding the swap to trip together the syncing. Well, I mean, I think they're just gonna sync anyways, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, now their plan is to sync the construct, I think. I mean, they might chump the construct. Okay, their plan is to concede. Weird match. They definitely made a lot of mistakes. Let's mulligan. Keep. We'll lead on the Thoughtseize. Your mom lets you have 2 Ragavans, huh? Should I take the sync? I guess I should take the sync. Yeah, I miss NT2. I don't think you can play it here. I mean, it's legal. Reclaimer sees some play in tight as a cyber greenstone target, very situational. I mean, I don't think it's optimal there. I'm a big Elvish Reclaimer hater. I've played my fair share. I've paid my dues. No longer am I bound to casting it. So probably take the subtlety. Like, I don't really care very much if they I think or sorry, am I okay to trade Bolt and 1 Ragavan for a construct? Maybe I shouldn't be so okay to make this trade. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be since they have 2nd Ragavan. Yeah, it looks like we're just playing against Izzet Murktide, which is pretty cool. I would concede that Spike's pet card is Cookbook if he owns 4 copies of Daredevil in paper. I think I own 8 copies of Daredevil. I have like 12 cookbooks too. It's just a very brewable card. Is the truth though. We play a lot of. It's weird. It makes a lot of weird cards better, and it's not like we can just be like test Boros energy all day. Yeah, now I take the sink. They put 1 card on top, 1 card on the bottom. Then they play the Bauble. So their hand is Subtlety Steam Vents Ragavan. And then this new mystery card that they like because they didn't shuffle. I draw an Asmo, which is kind of interesting, although I think that this is a spot where we want to be constructing. We have to find out which is better in Boris, Kin, Scare, Sentry, or a Johnny. Yeah, I'm glad. It does seem like the Kin, Scare, Sentry experiment is over. That card was worse than I thought it would be, but I didn't necessarily think it would be that good. It was like just unbelievably 2-mana, 2/2 first strike lifelink. Almost no other text it felt. Classic Saga token against against Murktide, just soloing the game. I think I'll get the Mox Opal, or sorry, one of the Mox Opals. And then if my opponent is interested in evoking Subtlety for Asmo, that's fine. We'll just take our 2-for-1. I want to cast the Asmo this turn before they have hard cast Subtlety up. I don't think I'm going to shoot the Ragavan though, because they've got 2. Although I might not even have the choice. Okay, so their hand is still Ragavan Steamvin Subtlety Mystery card. Let's attack 4/7. This was this was a good modern format. 2/7/7 constructs against the Ragavan. Remember Ketramos and the panic we all had for it? Yeah, it was very good at first, and then people adjusted pretty fast. I was definitely very impressed with it early. All right, 2 constructs win the game. So we're up a game against Izzet Murktide. This is going to be a Monument to Endurance kind of matchup. Let's go ahead and bring in a Nihil Spellbomb over the Vexing Bauble, although they have Subtlety. I think it's kind of tough to play around Subtlety. I think I might just cut the Rottenmouth Vipers, just like maybe I'll still play 1, but yeah, I'll play 1, but and then I'll kind of Boots. I mean, Boots is still good with Construct. It's just a matchup where the Boots can be like the card disadvantage on it can be pretty nice. Although I guess one problem with cutting the Vipers is Meltdown. We do have Thoughtseizes. We've got Moonshadow. We've got Asmo. Let me play one of these. I wish we had a better Meltdown answer. Well, we have Moonshadow, Rottenmouth Viper, Thoughtseize. I mean, technically, Asmo's not great against Meltdown, but I don't think there's anything better in the format. It's just that these cards are very efficient against ours. Yeah, but maybe we just need to be more in on Viper in general because of Meltdown. My opponent's on a Mold 6 on the play here. They play a Steam Vents and they play a Ragavan. So I'm going to play a Moonshadow, I'm going to play a Bauble, I'm going to sack the Bauble, and I'm going to hope to hit a Street Wraith, or at least that's enough of a reason for me to sack the Bauble main phase, is the ability to hit Street Wraith and eat the Ragavan in combat sometimes. They've got their own Bauble over there, mandatory 4 copies in every modern deck forever. And they have a Lightning Bolt for the Moonshadow, so we're going to be underneath the Ragavan a little bit. I don't care if it's good, bad, great, or otherwise. Viper's the coolest builder on card ever. Yeah, I was definitely a card I underestimated a lot. It's pretty high variance, but I think it's underrated overall. We've had a lot of success with it at this point. Their hand is Bauble, 2 mystery cards after they play the Island. They crack the Bauble to look up my top card. The Pursuit will make my Saga token a 3/3 the following turn. I do think I'm going to play it instead of Thoughtseize. We'll go from there. Maybe this won't resolve. We'll see. Counterspelled. So they attack for 2. They've got 3 cards in their hand. With Ragavan, they flip a Street Wraith. They play a Delta, then they cast Soul Guide Lantern. Not a card that's very good against me. It's actually awful against me. If they're ever sacking this to get rid of a Daredevil, I'm probably pretty happy. Now I draw another copy of Moonshadow, which is a really interesting draw. I have a lot of options. I can go Thoughtseize, Obsessive Pursuit, Crack Delta, get Swamp Cat, or sorry, cast Delta, get Swamp, cast Pursuit to grow the Urza Saga. I can go cast Moonshadow, crack Delta, Thoughtseize. I can go Thoughtseize, just Moonshadow to plan to block the Ragavan. I think I'm gonna go Thoughtseize into. Oh, sorry, I meant to Thoughtseize first. I clicked the wrong card. So now, okay, I'm gonna crack this now. I think now I'll just play Pursuit. So a little misclick there. So they're likely going to Surveil and crack the Lantern. They did keep a card on top. They Unholy Heat the Moonshadow. And we get attacked for 2, down to 11. We'll be down to 10 off the Pursuit trigger. They hit their own copies of Obsessive Pursuit, which is a little bit of a disaster, I guess. Yeah, a little bit of a disaster. Combo with the treasure tokens, too. So we need to get Mox Opal here. They only have 1 card in their hand. I think I'm just going to play another Pursuit here. I know it's kind of painful, but it's going to grow the construct really big, really quick. They don't have Delirium for heat either. So they got 2 cards in their hand, 2 clue tokens. They sack a treasure to sack the clue. So they're playing. So right now the Ragavan will be a 4/4 in combat. They sack another clue. The Ragavan's a 5/4. But that's why they melted. Okay, let's go to game. We can play it out. No, we can't. We can't beat the Pursuit. Yeah, Ragavan's too big. I think if they didn't hit Pursuit, we were still gaming there, though. All right, on the play for game 3. Vipers are good against Meltdown in theory. I think they're also just not very good in the matchup overall. So we'll just stick with 2 copies. I think that's going to be okay. We also have Moonshadow, and we can try to maneuver around it some amount of the time. Okay, well, let's keep this and go Cookbook, Opal, Moonshadow. I guess actually, should we play the Moonshadow turn 1? I guess let's not. Let's play Daredevil. Let's play Opal, Nihil Spellbomb, and then this way next turn we can go. We can get the Moonshadow to 4/4 to get out of bolt range. That should be good. Not a good draw. So if they melt down next turn, we can have a we'll have a 7/7 Moonshadow, which will be very tough for them to beat. Not impossible, though. We'll have a 7/7 Moonshadow next turn, too, even if they don't melt down. Double Bolt this turn would be pretty sad. They tap Spirebluff Canal for red, then they untap. Then they crack the Delta. This gives them their third type for Delirium, but if they're trying to Unholy Heat these Moonshadow, we have Nihil Spellbomb up. Looks like they do have Meltdown. So let's let the Surveil happen first. We can try to keep them off Delirium as much as possible, although Unholy Heat is not going to be able to do the job by itself. So they get like a 4-for-1, and then they leave the Daredevil stranded in hand, so it's almost like a 6-for-1. But well, it's only a 6/6 Moonshadow because they all go to the yard at the same time. So that's significantly worse. Although okay, thankfully now we have the 7/7, so out of heat range. And they don't have much time to answer this either, especially with Menace. Although Iteration will maybe be able to dig them for heat plus Bolt or something. They cast the Iteration. They exile a Subtlety to the Iteration. Potentially they'll evoke that to get closer to Delirium. But for the most part, it seems like it's kind of a dead card here. They attack for 1 because they can't block. Let's draw Street Wraith, I guess. Opponent is down to 5. Down to 4, 2 card types in the yard. They get a basic island, which is pretty surprising. Like they need double red. They have all the sorceries in the world here, so the Preordain doesn't do much as far as Delirium is concerned. They're thinking for a little bit off of the Surveil. They do decide to keep a card on top. I'm kind of thinking maybe this is like a Murktide Regent, and they're trying to set up for a double block. Now they're thinking about the Preordained. They put both on the bottom after keeping a card on top with Channeler, so something went awry, it seems. Now they play a Soul Guide Lantern. They graveyard an Iteration. Then they exile my Street Wraith from the yard. They're currently dead on board, and they have not made a lot of efforts to change that. Maybe they have another 1-mana red creature to double block for this turn, but no. They get the 6-for-1-ish off the Meltdown. But it doesn't matter. Moonshadow's a 1-mana 7/7, and they're dead. Well, despite chat declaring our opponent is the master, still going to put the Hand Hider up against an opponent who takes a minute to show up. Just for the mulligans. All right, they reveal Devourer of Destiny here. My hand's pretty good, I think. Looks good. They say no to an Ugin's Labyrinth, no to a Mindstone, no to a Thought-Knot Seer. They have a turn 1 map. We did add the 4th copy of Break the Ice in the board. I'm gonna get pretty aggressive here, I guess. Well, I guess I can only play one more 1-mana creature, so maybe I guess I don't discard anything quite yet. Want to cycle this? No, there's K Command. Yeah, I know hand hider's down. I just pull it up for a second. I just pull it up for the mulligans if our opponent's taking a minute to show up, just in case. And I drew the Thoughtseize, but I've been K commanded, unfortunately. A card Wizards thought was good to leave in the format. Fine. They do keep a card on top with the K command. We might get to Thoughtseize it. Let's go to game 2. They've got Tron. We're just not going to be able to win from this point. I am playing a lot of decks that are weak to Tron lately, but a lot of decks are weak to Tron, I guess. If only I'd been able to Thoughtseize the K command, we would have had a chance, but it was unfortunately the top card. Bringing in the Break the Ice, keeping in the Thoughtseizes, bringing in the Needle, cutting the Vexing Bauble. I think I'm gonna go down 2 Pursuits, 2 Daredevils. Let's try that. How do you feel about Tron cutting all Emrakul? Yeah, I mean Emrakul the Promised is kind of only good if you draw K command, and if you draw K command, you can't lose anyways. So, or you're gonna be good anyways. So I think it makes sense without any rumbles to not play Emrakul the Promised End. Although it could be a good sideboard card. Although it's like in the matchups, it's a good sideboard card. You're already pretty good. Bring back Dathi Voidwalker. Voidwalker's not nearly as good against them as it used to be. Still fine though. Free twin. I do want to play some more the Jeskai Wizard Twin. It tested pretty well earlier. It probably is pretty good against the Tron deck. I like the twin combo main boarding out of the combo. This hand kind of lives or dies on if the Street Wraith finds a spell or not, but I think we should keep. Pretty good hit. Yeah, they aren't just playing a bunch of Tin Man Ulamongs anymore, exactly. I guess I'll take the map here. Planning to Thoughtseize the flute as well. Maybe let them flute the Saga. I guess we can take a turn off to break some ice. Not the biggest fan of ice on the channel. Now killing the temple does make Thoughtseizing the flute like look a lot more appealing, I think. Yeah, I think I'm still taking the flute. If I could rebalance K command, would you increase the base cost or make it a sorcery? I think the biggest thing I would probably do is not make it an X spell. I think an X spell with like the Tron mana was like always like the most dangerous thing. All right, so I cannot use the Mox Opal, so we'll just attack here. They sack the Vexing Bauble. Hopefully we don't see an Urza's Tower, just a Cavern of Souls. If they play the Glaring Fleshraker, we can kill the Fleshraker with Asmo. Likely planning on suiting up a construct with Lavaspur Boots to this turn. Does that mean I wanted? I think I'm interested in discarding this cookbook to cookbook. It would be reasonable to still push the sorcery. I think it would still be a great card as sorcery, honestly. I agree it would be a lot more reasonable if it was a sorcery. We could Needle Karn instead. I think I'm just going to get the boots. Let me just do a lethal check, I guess. So if I kill this, this is 6 plus 7. Ha ha ha. 13. It's 1 short. I think still correct just to put them to 1, probably. Card is much worse as sorcery. I mean, obviously it's much worse. It's still the best card in their deck, probably. Like, it's just the only card that, besides Urza's Tower, they could draw to stabilize here. Although they don't have the 4th land. Although, yeah, they're still alive. They get to exile a construct, and then... Or I guess they have to exile Asmo otherwise. Oh, wait, no, they're... Oh, so they are dead. Okay. It did only stabilize if they had another land, which they don't. And we go to game 3. They reveal the hand. I think I knew it. Oh, they're basically just saying, hey, I have Karn Liberated in my deck. We knew all the other cards, right? Okay, going to game 3. Maybe it's actually a mistake to... I think I'm just going to go down to 1 Pursuit, play 3rd Daredevil. My opponent's on a mull to 6. Obviously, I like having double Thoughtseize, Break the Ice, and Moonshadow. This hand is one I'm happy to keep if I draw Cookbook, Street Wraith, or any lands. Yeah, any lands. So I think we need to do the calculator here. So we have 17 lands to draw into. How do we count Mishra's Bauble for this? Let's just go and count it as a brick. So 17 lands, and then 4 cookbooks, and then 4 street wraiths are all very good draws here. So that's going to be a total of 25 good hits. Let's go ahead and say the population size is 53 because it is. Sample size 2. Successes 25, and to hit one of them we're 72%. So I'm going to keep here. This is because this matchup is bad. And keeping a high upside hand like this in a bad matchup is kind of where you want what you want to be doing. This is kind of like, I think, a great example of obviously Chalice on 0 is a bit annoying. Let's lead on Thoughtseize. But just in general, another Chalice. In general, you want to be keeping high upside, high risk hands in matchups like this, where you need to have a multiple Thoughtseize, cheap threat, break the ice hand to win on the draw a lot of the time, and we have it. So let's keep. So they play the Temple, and then they think, which is horrific news. Now, the Chalice on 0 is definitely annoying, although I can just cast some zeros to grow the Moonshadow. Yeah, Break the Ice is, I think, the card that makes sense to name here. Looks like Thoughtseize is going to be... Oh, they have Ugin's Labyrinth in their hand, so I need to Thoughtseize this turn. They top deck Thoughtseize. Maybe I should have played the Opal just to get a counter on the Moonshadow. They might take the Break the Ice anyways, because I can just get there. They take the Asmo, which I think Asmo is worse for me than Opal. Not a bad draw. And actually what's funny is the Chalice ended up powering up the Opal there. It would have been much worse without the Chalice. So I've got a 4-turn clock against a Tron opponent with 4 Eldrazi mana, 3 regular Eldrazi, and they're also top decking. We are currently winning this race. We obviously have a lot of top decks that increase the clock here. Hate that they're thinking. They have so many bricks in their deck, but I guess they drew a non-brick. This increases the clock by 1 full turn, and then I guess we could draw a fetch land and surveil a permanent in the yard to win next turn, but or like go Street Wraith into another enabler for Moonshadow, but thankfully they weren't thinking about something like a K command that turn. We draw Cookbook, so we can put our opponent to 1. It's still, I don't think that 1 equals 0. Looks like I also miscounted earlier. It seems like we were actually not winning the race. I'm going to attack with both, and there's 1 card they can draw to get out of the situation. They play an Urza's Mine, 5 Eldrazi mana, 3 regular mana. Seems like they don't have K command because they missed their land drop last turn, and they did not cast K command last turn. So seems like we're probably going to steal this one. Any thought on other early games with Moonshadow? You only get 1 trigger, so it seems like not very interesting. Yeah, please no Kolagon's command, opponent. I think that they have a Karn, and I think that they're trying to... There's no way. I think they have Karn is kind of my guess here with this pause, but I will be shocked if they have K command because they missed their land drop last turn. Then they played a land this turn. They would have Cascade Command last turn. So if there just is one in their hands somehow, I'll take an immense amount of psychic damage. Yeah, Phoenix Dredge hasn't really gotten any new tools yet, no. Alright, they attack for 4 after some thought. I'm at 3, they're at 1. I have 2 lethal menace attacking creatures. They Pithing Needle on Cookbook. I go to combat. I attack. Yeah, at no point did I think this was real. All right. Let's get a trophy prediction. Well, keeping the 7 on the play. The last seen 8 days ago on Eldrazi Tron. There's been so much Tron today. Reveals Devour again. Well, we did just win this matchup. We did get crushed game 1. If we could steal a game 1 somehow, that would be really nice. Love to draw a fast Rottenmouth Viper usually does it against Tron. How's the Tron versus Boros matchup? I don't really get to see it ever, really. They say no to 2 Fleshrakers and the Mind Stone. They K-command my Asmo. I do have a backup here. Is there a way to farm Tron? Titan. Like unlosable matchup. At the Pro Tour, what was Titan was like 30-0 or something like that. Maybe not that high. Like undefeated against Tron at the Pro Tour. Right, plays an Expedition map on turn 2. We do draw the Viper. So we'll attack first. We'll see if the turn 3 is fast enough. Would have been a little bit more welcome in the hand last turn. So they can discard a card, lose 4 life, or sack that map. They'll probably sack the map, but I imagine not to the Viper. They discard an Ugin, which is a little scary. Would it make sense to play out a Daredevil there? Well, Daredevil's 4 mana. We have 3, so I can't go to jail again. So we're gonna not do that. They get an Ugin's Labyrinth. It's interesting. And they play Eldrazi Temple. Then they pass. Well, as curious as I am as what their hand is, I think let's just go ahead and go to combat first. I think it makes sense to let the Viper trigger happen before they know they're getting Thoughtseized. So they take 4. Then they have another choice. They can't take 4 again. They have to discard a card. Otherwise, they're dead on board unless they have the command of our friend Kozilek. They discard the Ugin's Labyrinth that they just tutored. Or, you know, maybe they drew another one for turn or something. They do have it. The second copy. They make spawn tokens. And they exile my Asmo. They take 6 damage instead of chumping once. So he Thoughtseize Ugin. But they have Ugin and Karn. I can't beat either. I guess it's more likely to mess up with the Karn. I don't know. I haven't been playing Espergorios for a while, no. What if they don't have bridge? I mean, that's the hope, and of course they're gonna have it. And I can't see myself beating the bridge here. Let's keep it moving. I guess it's technically possible that they draw like 5, 6 drops in a row, but let's just move on. I think I liked this sideboard plan last time. We did lose game 1 last time and then won both sideboard games. Tomorrow we play something good against Tron. I don't know what that's going to be yet. Ponza. You know, I have been wanting to play the mono red Roku deck again. We are getting pretty close, if we're not there already, to just kind of chilling with the Lorwyn brews and going back to stuff. I've also been wanting to update the Dimir flash deck, but I kind of want to cut Bowmaster because I've been again not liking Bowmaster so much. With 4 opals, I usually include 1 green shock and Haywire Mine the board. What do you think about that? You can. The green shock is just, it costs you a lot more than I'm necessarily happy with. Where it's like with 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Street Wraith, the Shockland drawing it does lose you games that you might not think you would be losing. Sorry, I should be playing around Warping Whale. Okay, Vexing Bauble is interesting. Double Vexing Bauble at that. But yeah, that's one issue I have. Oh, what we drew? Ovalchase, nice. But you can play Haywire Mite. I don't think Haywire Mite's also like super important at the moment. It's fine. I definitely have not been feeling like it's the same little insect it used to be. Just there's something worse about Haywire Mite maybe. All right, not a bad turn 2. Attacking for 4 with the Moonshadow this turn. At least 6 next turn. They go ahead and sack one of the 2 Vexing Baubles. They've got 6 cards in their hand, a mana floating, and another Vexing Bauble in play. Did I check what they said no to? They said no to Power Plant Dismember Mindstone with the Devourer. Then they sack the other copy of Vexing Bauble after some thought, play an Eldrazi Temple, which can get rid of the Asmo this turn. And they go ahead and just do that. Exile a creature, draw a card. Pretty strong. I think this is the best draw. It is the best draw if this lets me haste a Viper this turn. I think it does. Also gives me the last counter on the Moonshadow. So thankfully they sacked the other Vexing Bauble, huh? So I need to sacrifice 4 permanents. We're all in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, did I misclick? 1, 2, 3, 4. Moonshadow 7/7. So we're attacking for 13. My opponent has to discard 3 cards or they die. Discard an Ugin's Labyrinth, a Karn the Great Creator, and another Karn the Great Creator. 4 cards in their hand here, 4 Eldrazi mana, 3 normal with a land drop available. And they concede. So we go to game 3. We did win game 3 on the draw against them. It was a very weird game. We kept a 1-lander and with double Thoughtseize break the ice, and then they Disruptor fluted my break the ice, and we just raced them with Moonshadow. So we're on the draw for game 3 against Tron again. Hoping to steal another game 3 on the draw. This is the kind of hand you have to keep. Just Thoughtseize, cheap pressure, and then break the ice. Now this hand is very weak to turn 1 Vexing Bauble. They play a turn 1 Mindstone, which is always very scary. So let me cycle Street Wraith first. If Karn the Great Creator is the top card of their deck, I'm going to play Asmo. Okay, let me see what my next card is. It's a Moonshadow. I guess I'm gonna play the Asmo and shuffle it away, unfortunately, but I need to play the Asmo to pressure the Karn here. So they play Urza's Tower. Their hand is Karn, 2 mystery cards. Crack the Bauble. They're drawing another copy of Ugin next turn. Hopefully Break the Ice and or Thoughtseize can break that up. So they go ahead and plus on the Expedition map, which is interesting. Let's go ahead and attack. And I think I'm going to Needle the Karn and then Thoughtseize them. Might as well Thoughtseize first. Maybe the 2 best possible cards. I don't know. Maybe it was better to break the ice this turn. I'll take the better one, I suppose. I just really, really wanted to keep the break the ice. Do I? Yeah, I mean, I have to Needle. I can't be Bridge. I guess it would be worse if it was 2K commands. Double C's. We lose the game. We can't beat Bridge. So next turn I could cast Viper, but that would come at the cost of sacking the Needle. I guess I might as well Thoughtseize. They did draw a spell. Right as the Ugin. Okay, your turn. If we win this game, despite them having just like the nuts on the play, that'll be pretty good. Not there yet though. I'm gonna keep this because it lets me Viper, and we are in on the Viper here. We need them to stumble, obviously, for a little bit. They probably lose 4 life here. They do. Their new card is a spell, by the way. I don't know what the spell is. They play a second Eldrazi Temple. And the mystery card does not seem to be Devourer of Destiny, thankfully. We go to combat. I'm going to attack them instead of Karn. So this will, if they don't jump block with a Seer, this will put them down to 10 plus double Viper trigger. They go ahead and discard their card, which is a Karn the Great Creator, and then they take 4 because they have to take 4. Oh, so they could sack a Karn. They go to 6. They're top decking. Okay, let's fade. Let's fade. Come on. We've fought through so much this game. Let's fade. Yes. Okay, so they play Power Plant. They're just dead on board, right? I guess they can go. No, yeah, they're done on board. Right? No, because hold on. They can go sack Karn, discard Ugin, chump a Seer. No, so they're not dead on board. They can go to 1. But they have to put the Ugin in, they have to put their Ugin in their hand here. They don't do it. They fail to do it, and we win the game. Wow. 4-0, beating Tron twice. We are 8-1 overall with the deck. Let's see if we can get a trophy with it. It's really hard for K-Command to not be a stabilizing card. This hand's not great, but probably keep it on the draw in an unknown matchup. My opponent leads on Scalding Tarn, and then they pass the turn. I think in order to play around removal of the Moonshadow, I'd like to lead on the Cookbook. Although maybe this is bad because now I'm not playing Saga next turn if I play the Asmo. Although I don't have to play the Asmo or the Saga. Is this Wizards? I would have made a food token if they had white mana so I could pressure Thalia. What's the plan for Boros? Just play your freaking cards. I don't have any super. Play your cards, kill their creatures with Asmo, Viper them. Viper is good against them because they don't play Static Prison much these days. there's not like a secret technique or anything. Very happy to not be playing against Tron. I agree. So what I might do here is play Delta Pass. So if they have a bolt or a discharge here, I can save the Moonshadow. And then if they just don't cast anything, we get to blank them. I know we're maybe playing the Saga too late. I think it's in the noble pursuit of a big Moonshadow. So our Moonshadow is surviving the bolt. That was 2 bolts? Okay, well. Call that a 2-for-1. Play another 2-for-1. Make another food and pass back. So it ended up getting pretty paid off for playing patiently there. Although again, I don't love that this line ended up not playing the Saga very early. I think we'll have to live with it. They have 5 cards in their hand. They play Hallowed Fountain. Interesting. Don't know exactly what the heck is going on over there. I I do think the best move is probably going to be to buy back a Moonshadow this turn. Although maybe casting Ovalchase is better. Let's buy back the Moonshadow. Yeah, could be twin. Could be twin. So now maybe I'll want to buy back an Asmo instead. If I feel like they are playing twin, then Asmo and play to stop the twin combo seems pretty nice. Although one downside to buying back the Asmo is we are out of cookbooks. Karunko, thank you for the 18 months. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy back the Asmo. I'm just definitely smelling as a twin myself. I'm smelling the combo there. I do think the Jeskai twin deck played pretty good. We will be playing more of it at some point. I need to count if this bauble gives me lethal. Probably don't need it for lethal. We have yeah, I don't even need to count. We'll have lethal next turn without it, so we can sack the bauble. I'm a fraternal twin. My twin is a lady, or so she says. They've got a prismatic ending on top. They consult the star charts, so I would be a little surprised if they kept the ending. Is there a good bot fair plan that can be built into the town deck, main deck? I don't no idea what you're trying to say. As usual. So we get my Vexing Bauble. It's a bit awkward because I just drew a Mishra's Bauble, I guess. Just get another Mishra's Bauble. They gotta be playing twin, right? right, so they're down to 5. My top card is Thoughtseize. I don't think Thoughtseize is going to be very good at this point in the game. I think I'd like something more proactive if possible. Let's see what they're drawing. Mountain. Probably not. Wait, that's the second basic mountain. I guess does that mean they have Flage in their deck? Would they be playing 2 mountains of Twin? I mean, Twin is double red. They countered my boots, so the Viper's not as insane a draw as it would be otherwise, but it's still pretty good, and we don't even have to show it to them. We're up a game, 1 game away from the trophy with 2 games to get it. Against Jeskai Wizards for sure. I'm going to guess Jeskai Twin, although maybe not. I do think I want to be bringing in the Monuments. I'm going to cut the Vexing Bauble in favor of the... We're going to play the Nihil Spellbombs as well. I do think you want to move away from the Vipers and the Boots. I think I'm still going to play Viper number 1. And then maybe we'll cut an Opal as well. This sideboard plan isn't exactly good against the Twin part of the plan, although we still have Asmo to kill their creatures. Kind of hoping that they aren't playing Twin, because it's just going to be a bit easier for me to monument them out of the game. I was trying to ask if there's a fair beatdown game plan in Twin to make Bolt Snap Bolt viable. I mean, it's not more complicated than, you know, you have maybe a Flage and you have your 2/2s and you have Bolt Snap Bolts. But the Twin deck played pretty similar to normal or old school Twin, where you board out of the combo and you play like a creature control deck post board. But it definitely played good. We lost playing for a trophy to the mirror, when we played this deck. I'm not sure exactly how I would change it. I wonder if we could play 1. Maybe we could move away from the Flare of Denial package. When I'm done streaming, sign up for Vegas events live. Okay. I need to text my teammates because I'm doing the team sealed PTQ. Okay, this is gonna be a weird hand to sequence with. Do I want to go for turn 2 Saga token activation? That's a different event, the Spotlight Series in Vegas, which is later. Okay, I'm going to that. I'm not going to MagicCon. Texting my teammates. I think I'm going to go for turn 1. I guess I discard the Moonshadow. Moonshadow's so good in this hand, though. Maybe I just... let's do this, actually. Let's go... Team sealed event. Yeah, the Spotlight Series Vegas this year is team sealed. So it's not a Pro Tour, it's a Spotlight Series, but I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be a super fun event. Now I can't quite. I guess I should sack the Bauble because I could draw Ovalchase Daredevil or Street Wraith. I would get kind of rewarded if I drew either of those. Monument into Flame of Anor. I mean, that's a good point, although a lot of times you're still 2 for 1ing them, even if they Flame of Anor you. Yeah, no worries, Joymonger. I haven't really even said, but good looking out either way. Looks like a Prismatic Ending. So I do think we're supposed to take advantage of the spot in turn 2 Saga token, although we'll wait to see what we draw. I'll discard that to the cookbook. I'll do that main phase so they don't kill my Opal in response to the discard and stop me from making a construct. My Meek Attack Kalia? I feel like if you want to haste Kalia, Arena of Glory is it's like less mana. I guess you're also playing the Arena. Meek Attack Priest is pretty cool. I think the thing is Kali is just kind of good with I would just play 4 arenas and probably 0 Meek attacks. That way you don't have to have this like 5 mana sorcery. Should they have pending something else than Shadow? No, I think it was probably right. Although it could depend on their hand, right? They have Wrath Disguise? Meltdown? Meltdown's such a balanced card compared to Wrath. Look, I just get to keep some of my board instead of losing all of my board. So we're getting another cookbook, probably. Although Mishra's Bauble is kind of nice with the Obsessive Pursuit this turn. And the Moonshadow. You know, I think I'm going to get Bauble. Obviously leaves the Asmo kind of stranded, but it's not like we have Daredevil anyways, and the extra counter from the Pursuit this turn, and the extra counter on the Moonshadow, and obviously the card is all pretty nice. They have Snare. Is this worse? I guess it's a little worse. Moonshadow still grows, though. Maybe they're just reading. Speaking of reading, I'm almost done with A Wise Man's Fear. I'm plowing through those books. I'm like 700 pages in. Did a lot of reading on the bus this weekend. All right, their top card is a copy of Counterspell. We attack. We have 3 counters to go in the constructs. We're hitting them for 5. Oh, and we drew a cookbook anyways. All right, so they have a Flage. So Flage can kill Moonshadow. We couldn't quite make it big enough. So they're at 12. I'm at 22. I have a 5/5 construct. That can become a 7/7 if I cookbook. Probably want to wait on... Yeah, I think I want to wait on the cookbook until after this, maybe. Although, maybe I should have played the cookbook so I could get 1 food in play. Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Play cookbook, discard 1 of the 2 Asmos, so that next turn we can go discard the new card, Asmo kill Flage. They graveyard a counterspell, so we know their hand right now is counterspell, 2 mystery cards, Flage in the graveyard. One of the cards is Flooded Strand. They go blue, blue, red, so they have Flame of Anor? Flame of Anor with counterspell up. So we're not in too bad shape. They're gonna escape the Flage next turn, which will leave them with 3 or 4 cards in their graveyard based on if they surveil to the graveyard or not. They do surveil to the graveyard, and then we get to go play Asmo. Oh, okay, but they find the land to have counterspell up. That's not the end of the world because we drew second Asmo, but the problem is they'll just be able to escape the Flage again. So do I need to discard now? So if I discard now, so annoying, they can just escape the Flage again. So if I discard now, I'll have 2 foods, play Asmo, Asmo counterspelled, second Asmo, second cookbook. I'd have to draw Daredevil. But if I draw Daredevil, I get rewarded for this. Or maybe I can actually sack the food. I don't know if I have enough mana. I guess it's kind of free to, or it's not the food, the clue. It's kind of free to do this turn. Drew Monument. Maybe I do nothing. Maybe I play Moonshadow. Maybe I sack a food for life. Probably not that one. Play Moonshadow, they just don't counter is the problem with that, I guess. So I think I'll discard Moonshadow, cast Asmo, then not play the second Asmo. Because they just escaped the Flage again. So now we'll take 9, which is basically like taking 10 because of the Pursuit. Yeah, the problem with baiting the counter with Shadow is they're just not going to counter it. There's just no way they would. So we need them to have not drawn another counter spell or something, really good this turn. So go to 4. Remember, you can sack food in our upkeep if they like Flage me next turn. It's not the end of the world. Also, am I discarding for damage? They drew a counterspell, which is bad. So we're probably going to game 3. I'm gonna draw a card. Not a super helpful card. At least at 4 life, it's not super helpful. And they top deck Snapcaster Mage. And we lose. I think we navigated that game pretty good. Kind of a crazy one to lose, honestly. So looking at their deck a little bit closer, their removal suite is like Lightning Bolt, Prismatic Ending, Flage. And they're also a Meltdown, Flame of Anor deck. So maybe the Vipers just are actually really, really good. They have counterspells that kind of the only thing, but it seems like they're gonna have a really hard time dealing with this otherwise. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they are twin to me, or if they are, they don't seem very in on the combo. So I mean, I think cutting Monument's kind of tough though. Maybe I'm gonna go down 2 pursuits, just play 3 monuments, something like that. No, I mean, okay, we need to play. Let's play 3 pursuits because if we're gonna play all the Vipers, maybe just down a Daredevil. But it does seem like if we can stick a Viper, then that's gonna be hard for them to beat. Mulligan the 7. They're still thinking about their 7. We're gonna have to go to 5. Ashiok not bad here. I mean, Ashiok is bad here. We don't need to do this every time with Ashiok. It's just not good in these kind of matchups. It just because it can do something doesn't mean it's not bad, you know. I guess I'll keep Thoughtseize. Maybe it's better to shuffle. Mulling to 5 on the play in this matchup is a disaster. Not sugarcoating it. That's like the best possible card though. So that's whatever the opposite of a disaster is. This hand is not the opposite of a disaster. It's kind of unbeatable. I don't think I'd keep a Thoughtseize on top of a Mull to 5. I mean, I agree. That might have been wrong. I wonder if they sideboarded like back into twin here. You know, one thing about Thoughtseize is my opponent is a Meltdown deck, and so like taking Meltdown it can be pretty good. They drew Prismatic Ending. They have Consign in hand for the Monument. So if we can draw Obsessive Pursuit. Would have been nice to have. No, not like we would have discarded anything for it last turn. What if they ever consign this? Yeah, my opponent kept a Prismatic Ending on top, so they did not keep a land. So maybe I cast Moonshadow next turn. Maybe I cast Moonshadow next turn. I draw a land. They counterspell the Moonshadow. Don't think that that's a great plan. I don't like my plan. Part of my plan being draw a land, you know. So hand is Navigator, Navigator, Consign. These 5 cards. 2 Navigators, Consign, Counterspell. It's just so good against my hand. I guess I do have a move. Got some moves still. All right, all right. We're gonna chop that up as a win. So now my opponent is going to probably consign my cookbook. Oh, sorry, they don't have this 20 anymore. They're probably gonna consign the cookbook. So let's do. Oh, but then they have snap consign. Ugh. Do I just take? I think we just take our medicine at this point. Now that this is all the interaction out of their hand, and we'll try to resolve some stuff after this. We can go Mox Opal, Ovalchase Daredevil next turn. I think we've navigated this game as well as we could. I think we had to mulligan our 7-6. I don't think... Okay, Urza Saga is a great draw. All of a sudden, we're not that far behind. Thanks, Ovalchase Daredevil. This would be a very exciting game to win. They're thinking on their Surveil. They Graveyard Lightning Bolt after some consideration. They'll probably play both Deepway Navigators here, at least one. Gotta have Twin be a live draw. I would play both if I was them here. That way you can just send in. I don't have Needle in. I know we're pretty deep into this match. We didn't actually know that they had Twin in their deck till now. We had some suspicions, but no confirmations. Asmo? As kind of painful. Asmo? Maybe we could have entertained a hard cast Street Wraith, but probably not. Yeah, I'm gonna attack. So they have an unknown card in their hand here. Yeah, I agree. Token over Street Wraith. No. No, not like this. We did our best. We did our best. That kind of makes me want to play some more Jeskai Twin. It was honestly pretty good last week. Might end up working on that tonight. There was another thing I was talking about working on tonight. Can't remember. Yeah, tough way to lose the 5-0. So close. Yeah, this is the second time Jeskai Twins beat me for a trophy, I guess.